What's good, YouTube? It's Akansh over here with Client Growths. I run a cold email lead gen agency on behalf of my clients. I send anywhere between 300 to 400,000 emails every single month. And today I really want to kind of talk about my current sales process, second, like kind of full month into the agency. So last month, which was my first full month, and there hasn't been like a statistical change in my sales process. But last month, I sent around 50,000 emails for myself, ended up onboarding four clients. And the way the kind of math broke down was sent 51,000 emails, got 373 replies. Now, that says it's a 0.72 reply rate. The one caveat I want to quickly provide is when we look at reply rate on any major sequencer like Smartlead, Instantly, maybe you're using Plus Vibe as well, it usually calculates reply rate with number of replies divided by unique emails sent. Unique emails is your first email to a contact. If you send a second or third email, which you may in a typical email, cold email sequence, that second and third email isn't considered in your reply rate. It's not adding emails. So which means, like you start a campaign, let's say you send 10,000 emails, you get 100 responses, that's a 1% reply rate. Now, all 10,000 people, maybe like the second email, you send like 9,000 of them, third email, you send 8,000. So overall, you end up sending a lot more emails. And so like if you do the division, your reply rate looks lower, but it's usually much higher. Like my reply rate is like 1.5, close to 2%. Positive reply rate, kind of the same thing. I think what Claude did was it just calculated at this divided by this. It's like up in the 30s, but directionally correct. You get the point. Now it doesn't have how many calls that I booked. I'd be tempted to say like it was in the like 50%, maybe like 45, 46, 47. Had a very high show rate, so maybe like 37, 38 showed up. Obviously try to offer as many people as possible, even if they weren't qualified, because at the beginning, how do you even know, right, whether someone's qualified or not? And then ended up closing four people. This is what it looked cash collected wise. If you're wondering what my offer is, so there's a monthly tech fee, and then it's a performance-based pay per lead type offer. The numbers have changed, like from the first four deals. Now it's substantially higher, but so that's kind of what it's looked like cash collected wise. And I guess this is a bit of a more breakdown in terms of what everything looks like. To go a bit more in depth, the main thing is, yeah, you kind of want to launch. And the way I think about it is whenever I launch a campaign, I want to at least get to around 2,000 like new leads contacted within the first 3 days. So I'll usually launch a campaign with no less than 2,000 leads, unless I'm like super segmented, trying something very unique. But ideally, no less than 2,000 leads. So that way, in a 3 day time span, at least 2,000 leads have been contacted, and that's email one. Email one will always be the bulk of your responses in any campaign. And so after that first email has been sent and 3 days have finished, if your reply rate isn't at least 1% and your positive reply rate is not at least like, ideally 10, but even in the worst case, like 5%, that's a campaign that you cut. Like I never let the email 2 and 3 and send and wait like the entire 10, 12 days. I just pretty much keep cutting it. And so that's kind of the formula that I've been using. Once I get an interested reply, it's really multi-channel speed to lead, right? You immediately reply to them. You should have some form of waterfall process, whether that's Prospeo, Get Leads, whether that's Blitz API, whether that's Lead Magic, or I don't know, Surf or something, to be able to get that phone number and then dialing them up, texting them, adding them to LinkedIn. So that's kind of the approach which allows me to get the booking percentage from, 20, 30% to well into the 50s. And then the reason why the show rate is so high is pre-call asset. So the pre-call asset that I use is using Claude Code to be able to scrape everything about the company. I kind of send a pre-call asset, which includes 10,000 leads from an unlimited database provider like Get Leads. I also send the copy that I would write for them, and then usually some form of like Claude Markdown file, which pretty much contains the entire manual that you could provide a Claude Code, or I guess really anything like a terminal or a codex, to be able to take the assets of the CSV file, lead list, the docs copy file, add it to a sequencer like Smartlead or Instantly, and then be able to launch the campaign. So that's kind of the pre-call assets that I sent. That's why I get such a high show rate. Next thing I want to quickly talk about is Yeah, in terms of sending capacity. So before I kind of talk about like where my head is at now, because this was at sending around 2,000 emails per day. Right now, for ourselves, we're at 4,000 per day. By the end of the month, we're going to be at 10,000 per day. And the reason why we're able to scale so quickly in our volume is one main metric that I've been able to calculate, and I have a lot of confidence behind. And that is when we look at the cost to acquire a customer, so that you just take like 51,000 divided by 4 closes, so that's around 13 cents for a close. You figure out how much it costs you to do 13,000 cents, right? So if we do 13,000 cents, we actually buy the infrastructure to send, and then when we get that first close, so it costs us X dollars. I don't know the exact number. I think it was like somewhere in the low hundreds, right? And so we spend low hundreds on day one. And then when I look at my sales cycle, like when the first email is sent and then when we actually kind of recoup that cash, we're probably looking at within a week span. And not only are we recouping that cash within a month, I guess a week span, but when we go to pay to acquire a customer, right, a couple $100, and then what a customer actually pays us, what a client pays us in month one, so within a 30-day cycle, if we take that number, so the actual revenue, and then we subtract, the cost to fulfill and everything for that specific customer, we actually look at net profit. It's like more than 10x what it is to actually acquire a customer. So it's like, low thousands what they're paying in terms of net profit in month one. And so knowing that, all of a sudden on a 30-day cycle, I'm not like bottlenecked. Hey, if I spend, it's like a vending machine, right? If I spend $1,000 and I'm going to be able to get 10x back, and that is 10x in profit, not in like a revenue, in actual profit within the first 30 days, it's like, why not send more? So that's kind of where my head is at. It's the unit economics are super in my favor. So it's just about scaling volume, seeing if anything breaks. Got a inbox manager already, and he's just going to be like helping out with everything on the inbox side, for client side, my side. And then just really scaling volume to 20,000 cents per day, 50,000 cents per day over the next couple months from here. So that's kind of what it looks like. That's what I'm looking to do. In terms of refinements on I think the biggest thing is just volume. Sure, trying out different angles, and when we're setting more capacity, we can try out different campaigns, different offers, and things like that. So those are going to be things I'm going to be doing to be able to tweak that up and increase the number. But that's pretty much where my head is at right now.